Hello, I'm Andrew Corbett. Welcome to Jeremiah, part 43. We're in chapter 17, verses 9 to 10.
And we're looking at what we might call the heart of the problem. The heart of the problem. In these two verses is a wealth of truth that if you can grasp it, it will help you to see the world the way the world really is. Christianity doesn't offer you a mere alternative way of looking at the world. It offers you a window into the way the world really is. The heart of the problem. We're only looking at two verses, so let's look at the first one. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9. This is what it says. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. And I just want you to note that the Bible does not present that statement in a vacuum. It does not make that statement as if that's how we all are, we all were, that's how we were created. No, we were not created with a heart that was desperately sick and deceptive. We were created with a heart to respond to God. We were created with a heart that had freedom to choose. I will love God or I will not. And our heart was predisposed to choose to love God. And mankind did not. And everyone born since then is born with a heart that is deceptive above all things and desperately sick. Because we are so quick to point the finger at someone else and we don't recognize our own heart and our own heart condition. There's nothing in us that can ever earn the right to be in heaven. Nothing. Compared to how good God is, we are totally depraved. And that's the problem we as human beings have, because we don't compare ourselves with God. We compare ourselves with someone who's worse than us. Let's read the next verse, verse 10. I, the Lord, search the heart and test the mind, to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his deeds. Let's look at the first part of that verse. God knows every thought you think. He knows every inclination of your heart. The last part of this verse says this, to give to every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his deeds. You know, God does not judge. If he does not judge all evil, he is not just. There will come a day when God will judge everyone. Now, it was when I was about 16, 17 or so that this became a reality to me as I learned what I had been saved from. Now, the really good news is, before we look at this, is that the new covenant says this. I'm going to take out your heart of stone, your distorted heart. This is the prophet Ezekiel 36:26. And he says this. I'll give you a new heart, and a new spirit I will put within you, and I will remove your heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. That's what Jesus Christ does to those who believe on him. That's the new covenant. Now, the closing book of the Bible, in the third last chapter of the Bible, pictures this day of great judgment. Revelation chapter 20 verse 12 says this, and I saw the dead, small and great, standing before the throne, and the books were opened. Then another book was opened, which is the book of life, and the dead were judged by what was written in the books, according to what they had done. That was the first time, even though I'd been to church as a young kid, now I'm 16, 17, and I hear this statement, the books will be opened. Not just the book of life, the books. What I've done, what I've thought, and what I've said. Matthew 12:36, Jesus said, every word you utter is recorded in heaven. Whoa. Every deed I've done is recorded in a book. And every prayer I pray, the psalmist says, is like a tear kept in a bottle. The books will be opened. Wow. And if you haven't got Jesus in your life, another way of saying that, if you haven't got the heart that God offers you, then you'll stand before God with a heart of stone, with a heart that's utterly deceived above all things, desperately sick. And I'm here today to plead with you, have a heart transplant. Let Christ take your heart of stone out and give you a heart of flesh. A heart that walks around with an awareness. You won't need a WWJD wristband. You won't need it because the Holy Spirit will be with you. You will live with a sense of His presence. You will feel His gaze. You will understand that everything you say represents Him in some way. You'll understand everything you do represents Him. You'll understand everything you think and feel. He sees it. How does your life change when God gives you a new heart? The word radically. It totally changes. So here's the question. Which heart will you stand before God with? The heart that He wants you to have, or the one that you're clinging to?